What's up, guys? Today we are here with the Bruetta tea tumbler. They recently called me and they said, Austin, it's perfect for coffee too. So that's what we're gonna do today. Touch water on the kettle, and I start out with 19 grams of whole bean coffee. Everyone's favorite sound in the morning. With most coffee makers, you have to have a funnel like a V60 with filters, or you have to have a French press or a Chemex, and all of that is expensive. It's complicated, but with the Bruetta, all you have to do is you add your grounds right into the cup. And then with their fine mesh strainer here, acts as a French press for you. So after your water finishes heating up, all you have to do, add it straight in. And you're ready to go. Is there a way to end a coffee commercial?
A lot of y'all have been asking me to help you. I have over 450 DMs of people who want my help. I didn't know how to help all of you until now. I have joined VidSig, VidSig. You can download the app now and schedule time for me to break bread with you. I can give you advice on your business, whether you're trying to get into the music business, whatever the business is. I believe I have the knowledge and the know-how to at least give you some consultation and some support where you need it to help your business grow. And I'm not just another celebrity on VidSig. I'm now the chief creative consultant for VidSig. So I will be bringing others like me onto the platform to help you. So join VidSig, join me, and join the community. That's VidSig. Download the app today.
One, two, three.
And now, everybody, MC Serch. MC Serch. MC Serch. MC Serch. MC Serch.
Serch will never stand still.
Yes, my peoples, my Hebrews, and my Shebrews, what it is. It's the other white meat, MC Serch. I am so happy to bring on my guest today on the podcast. He's a guy who was really instrumental early on in my career. Was a part of a very well-known video, Gas Face. He did 3 other videos, which made my now wife extremely uncomfortable. Ladies and gentlemen, Gilbert Gottfried is in the building. Gilbert, how are you, sir?
I can't believe I'm seeing you again.
So good to see you too, my friend. How are you?
Yes, this is so strange.
It is.
That was like 1,000 years ago, Gas Face.
Yeah, it really was. Do you remember how we got in touch with you? Do you remember that story?
No.
We literally knocked on your mother's door in your public building. We knew where you lived. We were big fans of yours. We knocked on your mother's project door and were like, do you think Gilbert would want to do a video? And she literally said, I think something to the effect of, let me ask him. And just, I was such a diehard fan of yours. And I got to share this with you because I didn't tell you on set. I still to this day remember the first time I saw you on David Letterman when you told the Nostradamus joke.
Wow.
So I went to the movies with Nostradamus and I said, wasn't that a surprise ending? And he said, you didn't see that coming? I still remember that joke. It was so impactful to see you on David Letterman and then to have you in our video. And one of my other favorite memories of that video is you said, what's some vernacular? Like, what's some vernacular I could use?
Oh, yes.
And we were like, yo, dissing. You could say, I'm not dissing. I'm not fronting. Like, and you were like, okay, I'm not dissing. I'm not fronting. I'm going to make you big. One big for each one of you. It was so dope. But the other thing that you were so cool about is we did these mini-year videos, these vignettes. You did one for Triple Stage Darkness and you did one for Words of Wisdom. And the words of wisdom one, you remember you were in bed. I don't know if you remember this now. You're in bed, you had a fever. And my wife, then my girlfriend, my wife played your nurse. And she came over to you to touch your head, and you made a comment about how tight her nurse's outfit was. Not anything like, but you're like, that's a very nice outfit. I wish the nurses at Cedar Sinai wore such nice outfits. My wife runs over to me and goes, I'm very uncomfortable right now.
I guess she speaks for every woman who's come within 1,000 feet of me.
You know what? You did okay. You got a beautiful wife. You have a beautiful family now. But I want to go back to, like, you started in the club scene at like 15 years old in New York, right?
Yeah. I just remember I was like, I was a crazy kid. And it was, I started like, I'd watch actors on TV and start imitating them. And then I wanted to be in showbiz, which really makes no sense. And then my sister, a friend of hers, said there's some club in Manhattan. You could just write your name down in the book, and then they call your name. I don't even remember the name of the club it was. I should. It's where I began my career. I should remember the name, but I don't. And that was it. I was 15 years old. I did mainly like impressions. It was like, like when they used to have, Rich Little and Frank Ocean and people like that. Like, right. Oh, and if your waiter was Cary Grant,
Right. But you since then, I mean, you've been blacklisted, you've been fired, you've been booed for controversial jokes in the past, but it really hasn't deterred you from bringing your material and your perspective to everywhere you go. Have you ever thought of cleaning up your act? Have you ever thought of, going another route that isn't as and I don't like to say dirty because it's not really accurate, not as blue or,
Yeah, it's funny. People say after the trouble I've gotten into, have I learned my lesson and think twice? And I do think twice, but I do it anyway. And so I haven't really learned my lesson. It's like, I screw it. I have no more jobs to lose.
After the Aflac duck, it was literally all fucking downhill from there. Right?
Yeah. So,
but now that you have kids, right? Like, look, and I think both of us come from a very liberal Jewish background where it's like, say what you want, just feel guilty about it later, right?
Yes.
Is it different now that you're a father and that you have kids? And is it different? Like, is there a different shift in how you look at comedy and humor?
Surprisingly, no. And the funny thing is, when you have kids, you realize that I realize that, like, people like probably, Mick Jagger or people like that, their kids probably look at them, oh God, they're such an embarrassment. My father's Mick Jagger. Oh God, how can I face the other kids at school?
Right. Oh my God, my dad is Steve Perry. Oh God. God. I go through this, oh God, my dad is Nas. Like, oh my God, he's only the greatest rapper of all time.
Yes.
Imagine the pressure of being Blue Ivy, Jay-Z's daughter. Like, oh my God, how am I going to be as cool as my dad?
Yeah.
Anyway, you've also, you made a number of like really amazing appearances, Angry Video Game Nerd, various podcasts. And it's easy. You have some of the most reasonable prices on Cameo as well. What's it like do you consider yourself even a household name or finding yourself so accessible when people want to hire you? Like, how do you kind of come to terms with that?
It's so weird the way my mind works and everything that's wrong with me. It's like when I get a call and they say, "Oh, there's some club in Cincinnati. They want you there, and then there's another club in Dallas. They want you," and it's like the first thing I do is I panic and it depresses me, and then I go, "Oh, what am I depressed about? What am I so upset about? The fact that people, after all these years, still want to see me? That I have a career in show business, but it is craziness." And when I'm waiting backstage to go on at a club, my biggest fantasy is that the club owner will come back stage and go, "We had a fire or a flood or something, and so the show's canceled. Here's your check. Go home."
Right. The greatest check ever is when you don't have to perform. Right. Like Dara, you can book the earlier flight.
Yes.
I don't need to be on the 6 p.m. You can get me on the noon.
Yes.
Yeah. Which also, by the way, we also have in common. My wife runs my career as well. So I love that.
Which is why both our careers are in the ground.
Totally in the shitter. Straight shitter. What is, and again, I shout out to you doing Cameo. I think that's incredible.
Yes, Cameo.com/Gilbert Gottfried.
Got it. Okay. We're going to put that up on the screen for everybody, and we'll actually mention that on the audio podcast as well. But what is the weirdest Cameo request you've gotten?
So many. God. I had one recently. One guy who wanted to announce his sex change operation. And when you think about a sex change, you go, "Oh, Gilbert Gottfried."
The first name that comes to mind. Do you remember how you did it?
I don't remember. Probably did some dick jokes, I'm sure. or some previously dick jokes. Also, one time I was just asked to read something, and I read it, and around the internet, they were playing it, and it was proving that I was going to blow up the Golden Gate Bridge. And they had so many facts to collaborate. I thought, oh, I guess I'm going to do that. I wasn't planning originally. Now I'll have to.
You, especially the limited time I met your mother, may she rest in peace. You were not bar mitzvahed. As Jewish as you are.
Yeah.
As Jewish as you are, you seem like the kind of guy that would remember his Haftorah portion like me. I remember Metzora to this day. I can still recite it.
Can I hear it, please?
Yes. Let me get a kippah. Hold on. So, here we go. V'arba. No, Yo, Gilbert, if you're left. V'arba. Anoshim. Hayu Mitzrayim. V'rachata. Vayomru. Ve'ishareu. Ma anachnu. I could go on, but I don't know this time. I was looking at the clock. But why? So why were you not bar mitzvahed? Why?
I'm a bad, evil Jew.
Oh, well,
yes. I was never bar mitzvahed, and I love bacon, and I just realized what makes me realize I'm a Jew is that if they rounded up the Jews again, I'd be shoved in with everybody else. And that to me is the most important part of it, that you know that.
And I love you for that, because I just had this conversation with a friend of mine, and they were like, if the concentration camps ever happened again, and I didn't even have to stop them. I said, yeah, I would be Jewish. Like, there'd be no ifs, ands, or buts, because, as well as you, I mean, with our culture, there's a lot of new Jews in America.
Yeah.
Who, and I don't judge anybody. If you're going to the oven or you got to claim Christ as your Lord and Savior, you do what you got to do. But I've met people here where I live in Florida who have said that, they were raised Christian, Baptist, Seventh-day Adventist, whatever. And they found out that their families came from Europe and they converted to Catholicism out of just plain fear. And, not going to be me, but I get it. Like, I understand it. Yeah. But what you just said, it gives me a lot of zechel, because, there's so much hate in the world. There's so much depravity in the world. People are really quick to, kind of opt out, but hey, listen, you want to find out I'm a Jew or not, you'll find me at Katz's Deli or catch me with a bagel and a schmear, and that's that, and you're right. That should be enough, right? Like, being culturally Jewish is enough.
Yeah. And the Jews, I think if the earth lasts, God knows how many more years it has left.
15 at best, maybe.
Yeah, 15. Exactly. It's like the first people you're going to blame when something goes wrong is the Jews. You go, oh, what happened? Yeah, those goddamn Jews.
Right. No, yeah. Absolutely. I want to go back really to Gasface again and hip hop really quickly, because I just absolutely can't thank you enough for being in the video. You made it was so important for us as a group coming up. You really separated us, and you made us feel special. I mean, just point blank, regardless if it was a hit record or not, with all the other artists that were in there. But I remember people saying, yo, how the fuck did you get Gilbert? How the fuck did you do that? Like, dude, I think I started to elevate the lie. Like, I was like, I think at one point I was like, yeah, I think I paid him like $10,000. And then I was like, nah, we paid him like $25,000. Like, nah, I think we bought him a car. Like, I mean, my lie just elevated. But were you ever asked about doing any other hip hop videos?
I think that was it. Yeah. That began and ended my hip hop career.
Thank you. Do not do another one, please. Let's keep that one right there. Obviously, touring. You're doing touring. You do the roasts, late night talk show appearances, voice acting, cameo requests. How do you manage all of this in being a husband and a father? How do you kind of keep a balance?
Well, when there's a job, I go, oh, God, I could get away from home.
Oh, okay.
And being a father and husband, you go, oh, well, I guess they pay me for this. I better take it.
Right. Somebody's got to pay the bills, right?
Yes.
And there's this other thing, like, so you're incredibly raunchy. When I hear you're going to do a roast, I know it's going to be amazing. It's going to be, but then you have the other side of you, which is, you're one of the most beloved children voice actors. How does that kind of play into your balance?
My career walks the tightrope in between early morning children's programming and hardcore porn.
That's about right. Sounds about right. That sounds about right.
I'm a beloved Disney character, and I'm also in the Aristocrats. So
right, exactly right. That's exactly right. And the other thing that I wanted to ask you is, when the whole thing with the Aflac duck situation came about, were you worried, not so much about the Aflac commercial, but were you more worried about how is this going to affect my turn at Disney?
Oh, sure. When that was happening, and it feels as if the entire earth is attacking you. And it was like, I remember too, outside my building for like weeks. There were reporters and photographers, like they captured some big, mafia don or something, and it was like they captured a serial killer. And they would appear out of doorways. They'd be, and at first, I remember, they would always say, like, our top story tonight, Gilbert Gottfried's career is over. And then what I realized is, if your career really is over, you're not the top story. And it's that old saying, as long as they spell a name right.
Yeah. No,
So
there's a famous Houdini lyric. You can say what you want, just spell my name right.
Yeah.
Because all I was ever guilty of was rocking the house, but that's what the rumor was all about. So,
Because it's kind of like saying, remember when the original cast of Dukes of Hazzard went on strike for more money and they hired these other two guys to play their cousins? You would never have an announcement that their career is over.
It's true.
But meanwhile, Aflac fired me, got loads of free publicity off it. They really soaked it. Hired a guy to imitate my voice for less money, thus bringing closure to a horrible tragedy.
And you know what? No one died.
Yes.
Exactly right. You know what I tell my people that work with me? At the end of the day, this is entertainment. We're not curing pediatric AIDS.
Yes.
Like, we're not curing cancer. Like, it's entertainment. Stop taking it so serious.
Absolutely.
Enjoy your life. We only get one life. Like, enjoy it. What was it like for you, though? Because you are a homebody. Like, you are a homebody.
Yes. During the pandemic, I thought, I'm getting used to this pretty damn quick. I sit on the couch, watch bad TV,
right.
And I could live with this.
But you also then had to go back out on the road.
Yes.
What was your first show like post-pandemic?
The first one back on stage, I think, was Caroline's in New York, and I was
show.
Yeah, and I was. I remember I was up there. First of all, it was that weird thing of like, do I actually do this for a living? It's like, it just seemed like so weird. Like, why I stand up on a platform and people look at me? And then there was a lot how rusty you get. Because while I'm on stage, I'm going, I know I have more material than this. And right at this point in the bit, I know there's a funny line I do, but I can't think of it. That was a really hard. And the other weird part was that I remember when I got off stage, I thought I bombed. I thought I totally bombed. And then everyone came up to me, said, no, the audience was laughing, applauding, but it's like I was so mixed up, I couldn't even hear the audience.
Mm. So you were just in your own head.
Yeah.
Well,
which is a horrible place to be.
Oh, trust
my
me.
head.
I used to tell my kids, when your whole atmosphere is left to right ear, you want to get clear.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to be is in my atmosphere when it's only left to right ear. Like,
yes,
as creatives and as artists, and on top of that, the pandemic for me, I lost 140 people during the pandemic. Oh. Yeah. A lot of friends, a lot of family. Business partner of mine lost 14 members of his family in one household. Oh. So it really became challenging for me to find a creative outlet, because there was just so much sadness. So, I started thinking about how to give back. You did a lot of that too, obviously, with Cameo. You started to give back by making yourself more available and more,
out there to kind of, for lack of a better word, bring all these great, happy, funny, raunchy messages out there.
Yes.
And you're doing something now for the holidays for Cameo that's special as well, right?
Yes. And I don't know what it is, because if my wife's not there to tell me.
It's okay. I got it.
Yeah.
So basically, you're doing a half-off sale for all of your cameos.
Yes.
From now, so it's a Hanukkah special, which is it's late. And it's an early Christmas special. And it's a Kwanzaa. But yeah, so if you go to Gilbert's Cameo, which is cameo.com/Gilbert Gottfried, any message that you want Gilbert to do is half off. So if you want a raunchy message, if you want a happy message, if you want the Aflac duck message, if you want any message, Gilbert is going to do it on his Cameo, 50% off. So make sure you go to cameo.com/Gilbert Gottfried. Gilbert, I can't thank you enough. First of all, just me to you, I never really had an opportunity to thank you, formally and officially thank you for being in Gasface and doing that. It was amazing. It was amazing. And it still brings joy to me to watch that video and see you in the video and the other, the other vignettes that you did for us. And I just wanted to thank you for being such a major part of my career.
Thank you. That was so much fun to do.
I'm glad.
And I just recently on my Twitter, somebody put up the Gasface video, so I retweeted it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Sports analogy. It's become a sports analogy. Like when people get a third strike, they're like Gasface given, or somebody hits a 3-pointer and they make a face. They're like, "Oh, we just gave him the Gasface." It literally has transcended culture. Like even on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, they did a whole thing on the Gasface.
And I remember
remarkable.
Too, I appeared with you guys on the Tonight Show.
That is correct.
I was doing a bit on the Tonight Show. So during your bit, I just sat in this big chair and did nothing, and you guys danced around.
We performed.
There.
Yeah, we performed.
Yeah.
Exactly. If there's any fans out there, I know there's a lot of diehard third base. We call them base heads. If there's a lot of diehard base heads that have that video, please send it to me so I can post it on the Serch Says podcast and the MC Serch thing on YouTube. Gilbert, thank you so much.
Thank you. This was such a. I didn't know this was your podcast. This was such a pleasant surprise.
I'm so glad, and I'm so glad you were able to be a part of it. And thank you so much, brother. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This was my pleasure.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, another episode comes to a close. Please subscribe if you like what you hear. You can find the podcast anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts. As always, in the words of my wife, Chantel, please remember throughout your day to say what you mean and mean what you say. If someone turns to you and says, "Have a good day," turn around and say, "No, you have a better one," because whatever I want for myself, I want twice as much for you. And please remember, if you don't have an agenda in this life, someone will give you one, and it might not be nice. So always have a plan. See y'all later.